Hi, I just did this video, but there's a technical fault and the sound didn't work. Now, the only good thing about when that happens is that you feel practice. Anyway, so this video is non-tribal class war. And I wrote a note here, seeing through scams is not a tribal thing. Therefore, seeing through the elite's propaganda matrix is not a tribal thing. And isn't that true? And when you see through a scam, you don't say, oh, well, it's just my opinion, that the scammer is bad. You think, well, it's self-evident, scamming. Well, it's the same with the propaganda matrix. It's a massive collective scam. Now, the reason why some people don't see it is because it's a successful scam. It's pulled the wool over their eyes. It's normalised its scams. So what we describe as a scam, for example, some people having £1 billion and some people struggling to pay the bills, is not a scam in other people's minds. It's justice or something like that. Or the fact that some people have megaphones to the world, like the Murdoch Empire. Not just Murdoch, though. There's other billionaire news media owners, including in the British press, and multinational, and they're like unelected dictators. Even prime ministers like John Major have complained about them trying to blackmail on policy. And so you don't have to be even someone like me to see through a propaganda matrix to a certain extent. Obviously, John Major doesn't see through the whole thing, but he sees through bits of it. And, so it's just like a scam that you have to see through. Like I say, it normalizes in enough people's minds to maintain its continuation, but more and more and more people are seeing through it now, and like I say, I think that you might think non-tribal class war, the title of this video, it implies working class. Working class tend to see through the propaganda matrix more than the other classes because they're the ones that are the most victims of the scam. But the middle class see through it a lot as well. So the middle class are meant to be on our side. It's meant to be the working class and the middle class. The war bit of it, of non-tribal class war, is the top clique elite, the tiny 0.000000001% at Westminster, in that cartel between the likes of politicians, capitalists, news media. That's the cartel. And billionaires, of course, billionaire capitalists, news media owners are billionaires. So, as I often say, Britain is an oligarchy. Billionaires own the politicians, billionaires own the news media, thus billionaires own the people, own their minds, try to own their minds, take over some people's minds, etc. So what billionaires want is for people to consume their news media, and for that consumption to be taken as gospel. For example, they don't read or consume the news media in order to critically analyze it. The billionaire owners want people to be told what to think, to be told how to think, told what and how to think, not to be critical. To be critical is something that they think, no, please don't be critical. Because this is a propaganda matrix, they're meant to just be victims of it. The more they are victims of it, the more that the propaganda matrix profits, the more millions and billions it makes. So if they criticize it, then eventually they're going to stop consuming it, and the profits will go down, the power status will go down, and that is not what rich people want. They want people to suck up, to be victims of. So it's a scam. It's simply a scam. it's why academics throughout time and famous people like Karl Marx, Althusser, Gramsci, they talk like this. They talk about it being propaganda to hold the whole system up, and military if the propaganda collapses. So non-tribal and non-tribal class war means that the working class and middle class are meant to be together. So that is relatively true. But still at the same time, there's always the problem of what do you do about it anyway? So you just have to hope that keep seeing through, and eventually something gives. Now, I said before that 0.00001% benefit from this state superstructure propaganda matrix cartel. That's true, but it's still a vast empire. You know what I mean? It's still vast. It's still powerful. So that tiny fraction doesn't mean it's weak. It's the scam is a successful scam, so I always call it highly intelligent. It's got no conscience. It's manipulative. That is why it needs to be brought down. And the fact that it can normalize some of the most obviously grossly wrong aspects of it demonstrates that it's done really well for itself in an intelligence way, but in an immoral way. And it is vastly seen as a model. People have seen that much, but they don't know what to do about it, because if you consume the news media and if you vote, then you're validating the very state superstructure that you're meant to be against. And people say, "Oh, no, I'm trying to get rid of all of that. I'm trying when I vote, not doesn't work. Can't do it that way. You can't play the system. It has to be outside the system. Otherwise, you just end up validating it. It reforms. There's even the risk that people like who agree with me could bring the state superstructure down, except they don't, because they'll just replace it. That's got to be watched against. My answer to that is decentralisation of news media primarily, but also the obvious political class. Get it all decentralised so that there's no excess power. And the example I like to give is local news is not excess power. Its corruption levels are very low, whereas if the national people see through the national and international and the multinationals and their giant billionaire corporations, that is where you see the excess power. That is the news media. It needs to be brought down. If it's just local news TV and local newspapers, then yeah, there's not so much excess power, not so much corruption. Now, I want to finish by quoting Caitlin Johnston, the Australian journalist, who's absolutely brilliant. I've already said this, but my other video, like I said, didn't work. And she writes anyway, Caitlin Johnston, the Australian journalist. Modern Western national security journalism is mostly just writing about what a government official tells you to write, and then calling it a scoop, which you got from a nameless source in the government. One of the many, many problems with this system of news reporting is that it gives the government a tremendous amount of leverage over mass media outlets. Because if the New York Times or CNN don't write what a government agency or official wants them to write, they can lose access to that source and all the scoops that come with it. If the New York Times started doing actual journalism and closely scrutinizing the US intelligence cartel, for example, the CIA could just decide that the NYT is now off limits and all the insider scoops go to different outlets instead. The New York Times would then immediately lose prominence while someone else gains it, and they'd lose all the clicks and subscriptions they were getting from being a consistent source of breaking news on that front. Which is why that never happens. A symbiotic relationship has been created in which news outlets benefit from powerful sources, and powerful sources benefit from uncritical news reporting. The news outlets report what they're told to report in order to keep their steady supply of scoops, and in exchange they get all the money and prestige that goes with it. The government gets uncritical regurgitation of talking points, which serve the information interests of the Western Empire in that moment. This is access journalism. Access journalism is destructive enough when it's a prominent official refusing to give interviews to unsympathetic reporters. But once you've got entire government agencies driving the entire news media information sphere by determining who does and does not receive scoops on foreign conflicts and international affairs, you've got a system of straight-up state propaganda. What is the effective difference between this system and one in which the state owns the media and tells it what to report? In essence, there is no difference. Okay, thank you. That's the video. Bye for now.